Wonder what it would sound like if all of the animals of Earth clapped. You know?
No, I don't.
We've heard a human round of applause. Or, treat yourself a round of sausage. But
deep
cut. It's deep cut. But what if all of the hoofed, all of the pod, some people, fish are probably closest, but that would be interesting.
Do you want to put anybody in timeout?
I'm going to put Punxsutawney Phil in timeout, and it pains me to do so. I am from Pennsylvania. Punxsutawney is in Pennsylvania. Mm-hmm. I've always loved Groundhog Day. I love Bill Murray and Andy McDowell's movie Groundhog Day. I love it all. But I'm going to follow the masses of people here.
Okay.
And put Punxsutawney Phil in timeout for sucking so bad at predicting the weather. And I don't just mean when you put him up against the Al Rokers of the world.
Mm-hmm.
I mean when you put him up against other groundhogs.
I don't understand.
Punxsutawney Phil currently ranks 17th out of 19 amongst weather predicting groundhogs. He has an embarrassing accuracy of just 35%.
No, that's not true. Is
true. You know what? You're one of the dopes. 4% of people believe Punxsutawney Phil is always 100% right. It is not the case. In honor of Groundhog Day, that's the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. They put together some stats on the groundhogs from across the United States to see who's been the most accurate over the past couple of decades. Mm-hmm. They considered 19 groundhogs and similar species based on two main qualifications. They must have been prognosticating for at least 20 years.
Say what?
They must have been prognosticating the weather for at least 20 years. And they must be active, even if they don't make a prediction every single year. They need to be active groundhog weather prognosticators. Gotcha?
Sure. Is this happening in zoos? I don't understand.
We are putting Punxsutawney Phil in timeout because he's the most
information.
I have so much information. You're going, just save that tape. We're putting him in timeout because he is so bad at prognosticating the weather, but he is the most famous. This is very similar to all of you indie artists out there who are like, but I make great music, but you're playing on the sidewalk in Venice Beach. Meanwhile, someone you think is less talented, let's say Britney Spears, hypothetically, is topping the charts.
Sure.
It's not always fair out there. I now will give you the name of other prognosticating groundhogs or similar species that are around and have been for at least 2 decades.
Okay, I'm ready.
Coming in first place with an accuracy of 85%, Staten Island Chuck.
Okay.
Donna, clap.
Staten Island Chuck. I don't like that.
Come on.
I think his name should be Stanley or something.
I like it better with hey, I'm Staten Island Chuck. I'm doing this against my will. I'm not like Phil, that fame whore. I'm I just want to go back into my log.
Okay.
In second place, General Beauregard Lee out of Georgia. That is a groundhog who has an accuracy.
General what?
Beauregard Lee. He has an accuracy of 80%. Tell me what you think of this. Lander Lil. Lander Lil, Lil, is out of Wyoming. She isn't an actual groundhog.
Okay.
She's a bronze statue of a prairie dog, but close enough, and she's right 75% of the time.
What do you mean? She's a bronze statue?
Yeah, but somehow they've finagled a way for her to prognosticate on the weather.
Okay.
Yeah. There's Concord Charlie in fourth place out of West Virginia. Accuracy is 65%. So far, Staten Island Chuck, General Beauregard Lee, Lander Lil, and Concord Charlie, all well ahead of Punxsutawney Phil.
Okay.
Illinois has a groundhog.
Iggy?
Gertie, the groundhog.
Okay.
We like Gertie, right?
Gertie's good.
Gertie's right 65% of the time.
Okay.
This is a guy I think we could all relate with. Jimmy the groundhog. He's out of Wisconsin. Hello, I'm Jimmy. It's still winter. Accuracy 60%.
Okay.
Illinois has another one, Woodstock Willie. So they've got 2.
I like that name.
Better than
the
Gertie
iteration.
the groundhog?
Yeah, I like the iteration of
I think the word you're looking for
is
alliteration.
alliteration.
That made me feel
Did I
weird.
say
You
literation?
said iteration, I think, twice.
Iteration. Why did I say that?
Well, it comes after the al.
Alliteration.
That's the repetition of consonant sounds. What's the repetition of vowel sounds? Do you remember from school? Assonance.
Oh, yeah.
Buckeye Chuck is out of Ohio. He came in at 8th place, 55%. If you're just tuning in, we are reading off all of the different groundhogs besides Punxsutawney Phil who are more accurate at predicting the weather than Punxsutawney Phil, the most famous of them all. Gobbler's Knob in Punxsutawney Phil on February 2nd is when he will prognosticate again. Then you got French Creek Freddy out of West Virginia.
All right, now we're talking.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
Malvern Mel, another one out of New York. It's a big state. 55% accurate.
Slow news day, by the way.
Octoraro Orphe. Octoraro Orphe is a taxidermied groundhog out of Pennsylvania.
All right.
His accuracy, 52.6%. I would like to take this moment while I have everyone to say again that I think more pets should be taxidermied. I think that would be really sweet.
Okay.
If you always could see your dog.
No, thank you.
Their fur's always soft.
I'm out. Thank you.
Dunkirk Dave is also in New York. So too Holtzville Hal in New York, both with 50% accuracy. Then you got Poor Richard, another taxidermied groundhog out of Pennsylvania, coming for Punxsutawney Phil's throne.
How many people do you think are still listening and watching?
Can't be many. I think maybe only animals. 3 more. Okay. Uni the groundhog, taxidermied, Pennsylvania, 47%.
Can we stop with the taxidermy? I don't want a taxidermy anything.
Snowgadal Sammy. Snowgadal Sammy? Another taxidermied groundhog out of Pennsylvania, actually at 38.9%. It is not until you get to 17th on this list where Punxsutawney Phil comes in with an accuracy of just 35.5%.
All right. That took no time at all to get there.
Donna, blink 3 times if you need help.
I blinked 4.
Okay, I can see that. By the way, coming in at 18th was Woody the Woodchuck out of Michigan. And finally, Mojave Max, a tortoise out of Nevada.
I like that. That's different. Okay. Steve is dying. That's your timeout for today.
All right.
I'm putting us in timeout for that.
But we'll be there together. That'll be fun.
All right.
What do you want to talk about?
I don't know.